Okay, just a couple of quick thoughts for you as you prepare to get your research paper ready to be turned in. Okay? Keep in mind that the research paper is worth a significant part of your grade. You've put the time in to do research. You've put the time in to figure out how to learn how to do a works cited list. You've put the time in to learn how to put in-text references with every idea you take from somebody else. Now we're talking about getting the paper to look perfect, to look really good, to indicate the effort level you've put into making this paper. Okay, so just a few quick points. Keep in mind that the appearance of the paper is going to affect the way your corrector looks at the paper. So I encourage you to be pretty fussy about the appearance of your paper, okay? Don't put your paper in one of those plastic binders. I hate those things. Okay, so don't waste your money on a plastic binder. Put a staple in the upper left-hand corner, okay? If you want a separate title page, that's okay. You can have a separate title page. Just set it up to be really nice. The MLA format actually shows something different. They show the title on the first page of your paper, and there'll be a sample of that in your book as to how to do that. If you want to do things that way, that's fine. Whichever way you do it, make it look neat, make it look sharp, make sure you date it, okay? As you are typing, keyboarding, whatever you want to call your paper, okay, as you are getting it ready to pass on to me or any instructor, make it look neat. You'll be double spacing all the way through the paper. Do not break your paper up into sections. It should be one continuous flow from the beginning of the paper to the end. So even though when you created an outline, which we did a few weeks ago, we broke it up into separate sections there, you do not do that in your research paper. You use transitional words, phrases. Furthermore, following that, on the other hand, along with that point, things like that, things that help you move from one idea to another, transitional words and phrases to move from one thought process to another. That's what you want to do. You do not want to break your research paper up into separate sections, okay? Your entire paper should be double spaced all the way through. So there should not be any double spaces. There should not be any big empty things. It should be simply double spaced all the way through. Sometimes students really think instructors are stupid. They break their papers up into separate parts, which I told you not to do. And so they have a part that covers 2/3 of a page, and then they want to go over to the next page to start another part. And of course, we as instructors aren't supposed to realize that you're just trying to make your paper look longer. Well, we've all played that game too, okay? So don't do that again. You're not breaking your paper up into parts. It should be double spaced from the beginning all the way to the end, okay? And then when you get to your works cited, of course, that goes on a separate page, but that's also double spaced all the way through, okay? So follow the rules for that. Proofreading is very important, and I explained this in the lesson. It really is super important. You want to proofread it at least 2 times. Here's why. Sometimes students leave out part of a sentence because they're typing and keyboarding it pretty quickly and they just leave something out. If you proofread it carefully, you'll pick that up. However, you can't effectively proofread it immediately after you type it, okay? Your brain will still be in that same mode. So if you try to proofread something right after you get done with the keyboarding, it's very easy for your brain to fill in what's left out And the same thing goes with putting the wrong word in, or spelling, or, using the wrong to, TOO as opposed to TO, or TO as opposed to TOO, or TWO, that kind of thing, okay? Those aren't misspellings, but you want to look carefully at that stuff because misspelled words cost you points. And very honestly, I can't begin to tell you how many times over the years the word the on research papers has been spelled HE because the person's in a little bit of a hurry and they somehow skip over that T, so now they have a misspelled word right in the beginning, and of course it changes the whole meaning of the sentence. So what you want to do is when you get done keyboarding it, typing it, put it aside, minimum of a couple hours. It's better off if you can put it aside till the next day, but put it aside for a minimum of a couple hours so your brain gets out of the same mode you were in when you keyboarded it. Then you can kind of start clearly, carefully, and slowly proofreading it, okay? It's important that you proofread carefully. So many students lose lots of points because they did not proofread carefully. Don't do that. You've worked too hard all semester to lose points on goofy things like that, okay? If in your proofreading you find a word or two on a page that you misspelled, or where you used the wrong word, or even where you left something out, something small, you left it out, I have no qualms about you simply correcting it right there on the paper. One or two on a page, that's all. You can't have a page that's all slopped up. It creates a negative impression. It hurts your grade. But if you have to correct some little errors, I don't have a problem with that. And I don't want you to think this is a typing exercise, okay? So just make the correction. And, again, one or two on a page. No more than that, okay? If there's more than that, then you better redo it, okay? So I also strongly encourage you to print it and then proofread it on paper, because we pick things up better on paper than we do on a screen. We all do. On a screen, we tend to go too fast. We aren't looking to correct. We assume the stuff on the screen is going to be spelled correctly, even when it's our stuff, because we read so much stuff on the screen that we assume it's going to be spelled correctly. So you'll do a better job proofreading and correcting errors if you print it first and then try to proofread it, okay? So just some hints, okay? And I explained to you how you have to get your paper to me. That's in the lesson itself. So do those things. I'm sorry about this fan in the back. I should have turned it off because you may have gotten dizzy following it, but sorry about that. Too late now. You know where to get me if you have problems or questions, okay? And again, something really happens, get in touch with me.